How Vikings outmaneuvered enemies on water, masters of maritime warfare. Imagine a world where the sea is not a barrier, but a highway for conquest. The Vikings, with their innovative longships and audacious tactics, transformed the landscape of naval warfare. Their story is not just one of raiding and pillage, but a testament to their profound understanding of maritime strategy and engineering. The fog lifts slowly, revealing dozens of narrow, serpent-headed ships slicing through the gray waters. Oars moving in perfect unison, the vessels approach silently, a deadly fleet materializing as if from Valhalla itself. By the time the monastery bells sound the alarm, it's already too late. The Vikings have arrived. What made these Norse raiders so devastatingly effective wasn't just their ferocity in battle, but their revolutionary approach to naval warfare. In an age when most European powers viewed ships as mere transport vessels, the Vikings transformed their longships into weapons of precision, mobile platforms for hit-and-run tactics that would reshape warfare for centuries. Their impact on naval doctrine is undeniable, a legacy that continues to resonate in modern maritime strategies. But how did a people from the harsh edges of Europe outmaneuver more established powers on the water? Let's delve into the analytical depths of their naval prowess, exploring the historical context and strategic brilliance that defined their dominance. At the heart of Viking naval dominance lay the longship, arguably the most sophisticated vessel of its era. Unlike the bulky merchant ships of the Mediterranean or the awkward war galleys of the Byzantines, the longship represented a perfect marriage of speed, maneuverability, and versatility. This wasn't just a boat, it was a meticulously engineered instrument of war. The secret lay in its revolutionary construction, a clinker-built hull overlapping wooden planks attached to a flexible keel, creating a vessel that could bend with the waves rather than fight against them. This flexibility meant Vikings could navigate rough, open seas that would cripple sturdier but more rigid designs. The clinker construction provided both strength and elasticity, allowing the longship to withstand the rigors of the North Atlantic. Combined with a shallow draft of just 3 feet, these ships could penetrate deep inland via rivers and streams, striking targets previously thought safe from seaborne attacks. This shallow draft was a game changer, enabling them to bypass coastal defenses and strike at the heart of their enemies' territories. The longship's design was a direct response to the geographical challenges and strategic opportunities presented by the Viking world. When the monks of Lindisfarne watched in horror as Viking ships appeared in 793 CE, they weren't just witnessing a raid. They were seeing the debut of a new kind of warfare that would terrorize Europe for generations. This event marked the beginning of a new era in naval history, one defined by speed, agility, and surprise. The Vikings had effectively rewritten the rules of engagement. While other naval powers relied primarily on rowing power, Viking captains developed an intuitive understanding of wind patterns that transformed weather conditions from obstacles into advantages. Their ability to harness the power of the wind was a critical factor in their success. A Viking captain could read the clouds like we read road signs, notes Dr. Leif Erikson of Copenhagen University's Maritime Archaeology Department. They knew how to position their ships to catch favorable winds while forcing opponents to row against currents. This intimate knowledge of meteorology gave them a significant tactical edge. This mastery of environmental conditions became evident in 885 CE, when a Viking fleet led by Rollo outmaneuvered a larger Frankish defense force on the Seine River. By deliberately choosing to attack during shifting wind conditions, the Vikings created confusion among the Frankish ships, while their own vessels executed precise maneuvers, ultimately breaking through to raid Paris. This demonstrated their ability to exploit environmental factors to their advantage, turning potential weaknesses into strengths. The Vikings' understanding of wind and currents was not just a matter of skill, it was a product of necessity. Living in a region where the sea was both a lifeline and a source of danger, they had to develop a deep connection with the natural world. This connection translated into a strategic advantage that their rivals could not match. They moved like wolves hunt, surrounding, feinting, striking where least expected. Account attributed to a Frankish monk, circa 860 CE. Viking naval formations weren't just organized, they were choreographed performances of maritime violence. Their three primary tactical formations revolutionized naval warfare, demonstrating a level of strategic thinking that was far ahead of its time. The swine array, Svinfylking, ships arranged in a V formation, allowing them to break through enemy lines with the lead ships creating gaps that trailing vessels could exploit. This formation proved devastating against fixed defensive positions. The Svinfylking was a powerful offensive maneuver designed to shatter enemy formations and create chaos. The shield wall. When facing larger enemy fleets, Vikings would lash their ships together in a floating fortress, creating a defensive platform from which they could rain arrows and projectiles while maintaining superior position. This tactic transformed their ships into a mobile, heavily armed platform, capable of withstanding significant attacks. The scatter and reform. Perhaps most feared was the Vikings' ability to appear to retreat in disarray, only to rapidly reform into attack positions from multiple directions, a tactic that repeatedly fooled less agile opponents. This deceptive maneuver required exceptional coordination and discipline, and it often caught their enemies off guard. What made these formations work was the Vikings' superb communication system. Through a combination of horn signals, flag positions, and shield patterns, commanders could coordinate complex maneuvers across dozens of ships, a capability unmatched by contemporaries. This sophisticated communication system allowed them to execute complex maneuvers with precision and speed, giving them a decisive advantage in battle. The Vikings' naval tactics were not just about brute force. They were about strategy, coordination, and deception. They understood that the key to victory was not just to be stronger than their enemy, but to be smarter and more adaptable. The Vikings understood something fundamental about warfare that many of their opponents missed. Battles are won in the mind before they're won on the field. Their understanding of psychological warfare was a key component of their success. Their ships were designed not just for function, but for terror. Dragon heads and serpent tails adorned their vessels, creating an immediate psychological impact. Reports from the period describe how the mere sight of these carved figureheads froze the blood of defenders. These intimidating designs were intended to instill fear and demoralize their enemies before the battle even began. The psychological warfare extended to timing and weather. Vikings deliberately chose to attack during storms or fog when defenders were least prepared and most fearful. They exploited the superstitions of the Christian nations they raided, striking during religious holidays when defenders might be distracted by ceremonies. This calculated approach to warfare demonstrated a deep understanding of human psychology and the power of fear. The Vikings' use of psychological warfare was not just a matter of chance, it was a deliberate strategy. They understood that by instilling fear and uncertainty in their enemies, they could gain a significant advantage on the battlefield. Perhaps the Vikings' greatest tactical innovation was recognizing that naval warfare wasn't just about ship-to-ship combat, but about the seamless transition between sea and land operations. Their amphibious capabilities were unparalleled in their time. Viking captains would often split their forces, sending ships to create diversions while other vessels landed warriors at undefended points. Their longships could be beached directly on shorelines, allowing warriors to disembark directly into battle, no harbors or docks required. This flexibility allowed them to strike at will, bypassing traditional defenses and exploiting vulnerabilities. This amphibious capability was demonstrated spectacularly in 885 CE when Viking forces simultaneously attacked multiple points along the Seine, preventing Frankish defenders from concentrating their forces against any single landing site. This coordinated attack showcased their ability to seamlessly integrate naval and land operations, overwhelming their enemies with a multi-pronged assault. The Vikings' amphibious flexibility was a game-changer in medieval warfare. It allowed them to strike at will, bypassing traditional defenses and exploiting vulnerabilities. This capability made them a formidable force to be reckoned with. The Vikings' maritime innovations didn't disappear with the end of their raiding era. Their approaches to naval warfare, particularly their emphasis on speed, maneuverability, and amphibious operations, influenced European naval development for centuries. Their impact on naval doctrine is undeniable. When King Alfred of Wessex finally began successfully defending against Viking raids, he did so by studying and adopting their ship designs and tactics. The longship's influence can be traced through medieval naval architecture into the age of exploration. This demonstrates the lasting impact of Viking naval technology and strategy. As we look back across the centuries, one thing becomes clear. The Vikings weren't just fierce warriors. They were maritime innovators who understood that controlling the seas meant mastering the intricate dance between ship design, environmental conditions, and human psychology. Their legacy continues to shape naval warfare to this day. In the words of maritime historian Magnus Magnusson, while the world remembers the Vikings for their brutality, perhaps their most enduring legacy was teaching Europe how water could be commanded rather than merely crossed. This quote encapsulates the essence of the Vikings' contribution to naval history. The next time you see a sleek naval vessel executing precise maneuvers in formation, remember, you're witnessing the distant echo of those dragon-headed ships that once emerged from the northern mists, forever changing how humans wage war on water. Their innovations continue to inspire and inform naval strategies around the world. Are you ready to delve deeper into the sagas of naval history? Explore the strategic brilliance of military masterminds and uncover the secrets of maritime dominance. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more in-depth analyses of historical battles and naval innovations. Join our community of history buffs and naval enthusiasts as we navigate the fascinating world of maritime warfare together. Don't miss out on our upcoming videos where we dissect the tactics of other legendary naval commanders and explore the evolution of ship design throughout history. Your journey into the depths of naval history starts now.